Love and Hip Hop Miami episode 9, and I'm still going to say in every video, please subscribe to my YouTube because yes, we are so back right now, but I don't know if this is just temporary. So we pick back up where we left off. Princess is confronting Amara. Why would you meet up with Ray without telling Princess if that's supposed to be your friend? Amara seems to think that she only needed to tell Princess if something happened between her and Ray. Like, no, if you and Princess are friends, I'm not going to meet up with my friends ex-husband or current husband that she's divorcing without telling my friend that. My friend would have knew that before I even met up with him, not after. So of course we already know Princess ended up slapping Amara, but when she slaps Amara, here goes Estelita trying to jump into the fight. Estelita, you set this whole thing up because you was mad at Amara about Shay. How you fighting Princess now? You wanted Amara to get smacked, didn't you? Mind you, Brooke is laughing the whole time this whole fight is going on between Princess Amara and Estelita. Like, you was a part of this too, being messy. So Estelita went up to Princess and was like, what makes you think you could come and fight somebody at my event? And Princess was like, girl, shut the F up, because you already knew what type of timing I was on when I said I was coming. Estelita talking about she just thought Princess was going to talk to Amara like a grown-ass woman. Has Princess not been known for putting hands on these Love and Hip Hop girls for years now? Amara's outside. She's so upset and she's hurt. Her nail came off with her fingernail. Like, you know, you have the fake nail and then your real nail comes off when the fake nail breaks. She had that kind of situation happen. So her hand is bleeding. So Amara is going to the hospital to get her finger checked out, and Ray J is meeting her at the hospital. So Amara is basically telling him everything that happened. He's acting shocked, like he don't know how Princess get down. Ray J said that he didn't tell Princess anything out of the ordinary that should have made her want to attack Amara. And Amara was just saying that it was very clear that Princess was worried about Ray J, because as soon as Amara told her that she met up with Ray J, Princess started asking if they kissed and stuff. Like, she thought it went further than a friendly meeting from the beginning. And I told y'all in my episode 8 review that I felt like Amara wasn't really aware and that she didn't really notice when she was being used. It seemed like she's finally woken up now that she's at the hospital, and she told Ray J, like, you clearly tried to use me to get your wife mad. So now Amara is pondering and she's telling Ray J she don't know how she want to handle this. Maybe she should just call her attorneys and hurt Princess's pockets, or should she just F the shit out of Ray J and get under Princess's skin and do it publicly? I don't think that's a good idea, because she'll probably just beat you up again and then you'll end up having to go the legal route anyway. So I think you should just call your attorney. So then Amara basically told Ray J to come with her into the hospital and that he needed to pay the medical bill. And he gonna tell Amara, I think you should go with the option of effing the shit out of me instead of hurting Princess's pockets. But then later on, he gonna act like he said that to protect Princess in the long run. So we see Flo, Gaelle, and their mom meeting up because Flo and Gaelle's sons are going to the same school this year, and their first day of school is today. So even though there's still a lot of tension between Flo and Gaelle from the birthday party where Flo stole Alan from both Gaelle and Amara, they just have to play it cool for the kids. So Marlon said after he realized that Flo was serious about the divorce, he decided to move out, but he's still going to always make sure that he's present for his kids and their milestones. So while they're taking pictures of the boys, Flo is talking to Marlon on the side and basically telling him that she's going to need his help more with the kids as far as watching them, because she wants to get back into the studio and start taking her music career seriously again. Marlon asking her, does this mean that me and you might get back together? And she like, let's not focus on the divorce right now. Like, you need to just focus on taking care of your kids, because you're going to do that regardless. And it's like, I low-key be feeling bad for Marlon, but then I keep remembering everything he did when they first got on this show. Like, you deserve to be where you're at. She was supposed to divorce you. So move on. You were cheating so bad before that you were cheating with her sister. Go find somebody else. So we see Gaelle telling Flo, just so you know, I'm not even mad about you and Alan because I got my own man. So she said she got a new man now. He was in a relationship, but now he's single. Meanwhile, we see Marlon talking to Flo and Gaelle's mom, and he was just like, y'all know that their mom has always been on my side. She always saying Marlon is her son, even though he done slept with both of her daughters. She don't care. She feel like because he take care of the kids, that Flo should have stayed with him because she don't really believe in divorce in their culture. But Marlon was basically telling her that Flo wants him to help with the kids more again. And she was like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. But I just wanted to tell you that Flo's been hanging out with some guy named Alan. So Marlon was like, oh, Amara's baby dad? And Marlon was basically like, okay, noted. But I know that she only doing this to try to get back at me for hanging out with Amara. But Flo mom going to tell Marlon, so do what you have to do. Basically, go check him. Go check Flo. Go get your wife back and get Alan about the picture. She's not feeling him. So we see this event happening in Miami called Curve Fest that basically embraces body positivity and plus size women. And Zoe Brinks and Ching Diamond are meeting there for the first time. So they go to sit down and talk, and they both seem really excited to finally meet each other after having connected on social media a while ago. So they start talking about Ching's boyfriend, and she's still very excited for him to come home. And, you know, she feels like he's going to do the right thing. But she said he's been gone for almost a year now, so she just needs to make sure that he's going to show and prove. She said they only been together for 2 years, and within that 2 years, he's been back and forth to jail 3 times because he keeps violating parole. Sounds like you need to exit stage left. Because imagine if y'all get married, girl, you could be liable for all his lawsuits and everything else. And your mom said he always cheating on you. So imagine he have a baby on you, y'all married, you paying the child support. Girl, bye. And Ching says she's actually been celibate the whole time he's been back and forth. She's been holding it down. So she feel like since he's going to come out here and move with her to Miami, it shouldn't be the way that it was before. He's no longer in a gang. He's no longer in Nebraska. He's no longer surrounded by those bad influences. So now we see Gaelle going to meet up with this new man that she has that she's so excited about. And guess who it is? Shay's baby dad, Fabo. Gaelle just can't help but to be messy with all of her moves. And Gaelle gonna say, when I saw Fabo disrespect Shay's mom on the show, I thought that was hot. So if he disrespected you and Flo's mom, would it be hot then? So they over here flirting and feeding each other jerk chicken, child. But apparently Gaelle was the one who DM'd Fabo and not the other way around. So she's the one being thirsty and of course trying to be petty to Shay because she don't like her. And he asked Gaelle, like, do you think us talking would cause some wars? And she was like, yeah, I don't really care because Shay is not my friend. And then she talking about, you need to teach me how to do the dirty wine. So she turns around and like puts her butt up against him and does it, child. So he was like, well, since I showed you the Jamaican food, next time we could taste the Haitian food. And she was like, yeah, you're going to love it. And I'm not talking about just the food. So now we see Bobby meeting up with Princess, and he basically say he just wants to talk to her about everything that happened at Estelita's party between her and Amara. And Princess said the same thing I said, and it looked like Bobby agreed, which is basically like the first red flag is that you told me you met up with Ray after the fact. If we're supposed to be friends and you're meeting up with my husband or ex-husband or baby father, you should be telling me that before that, not after. Bobby and Princess both seem confused as to why Estelita decided to jump into the fight. And then Bobby basically was like, did Brooke check on you? And Princess said, yeah. But she was like, Brooke didn't even flinch. And like, when you look back at the clips, like I said, she was laughing and highly entertained by all the drama that was going on. When supposedly everybody involved is Brooke's friend. And she's the mediator and the peacemaker, right? Bobby basically said in his opinion throughout the years that he's known Amara, even though he likes her and considers her a friend, he constantly sees her getting into beefs with different women and he feels like she provokes a lot of those beefs. And then Bobby basically told Princess, well, I feel like before you leave and before you throw away your whole relationship with Ray or your whole friendship with Amara, you should talk to Ray and get to the bottom of everything. And Princess says she does plan to do that just for her own closure and sanity, not necessarily because she's worried about the relationships with Ray or Amara. So we see Zoe and Ching at Trick Daddy's restaurant Sundays, and they're sampling the menu. They got a big sample, child, and basically creating some content from that. So they post the video and they started getting like a lot of hate comments and fat phobic comments from people telling them like they stink, they need to shed some pounds, so on and so forth. Zoe kind of said that she usually will get mad or get irritated by those type of comments, but she liked how Ching handled it, and Ching kind of used it as motivation and was like, the haters are still giving us engagement on the video. We have a bunch of comments, like it's still pushing us in the algorithm. She's looking at the bright side of things. And Marquez called Ching while they were sitting there. You could tell she's all in love, answering and hanging up the phone, talking about some, hey, daddy. I wish her the best with this situation, but I just don't have a good feeling about it, especially because she said he's been back and forth to jail 3 times since they've been together and it's only been 2 years. It's like, I just don't really see what's going to change now, especially because he's young. So once Ching got off the jail call with her man, they started talking about Zoe and Kelvin's relationship. And she said they're taking things slow and things are still tense between them because he's still managing her. So she said she feel like there's no separation between her work and home life. He's more of her manager than her boyfriend. And that him proposing to her was just him trying to like save the relationship or put a band-aid on everything that we already saw going on before, with Zoe wanting to move out and like low-key wanting to break up. She said right now she's not ready to break up, but she feel like they got a lot of work to do before they could even consider really planning out a wedding. So we see Amara at home and she's getting this IV drip. She got this nurse in the house with her talking about she's recovering from all the stress and drama. That was so dramatic, and I was laughing so hard when I first watched it because I'm like, girl, bye, you got slapped. People get slapped every day and they don't have the amenities or can't afford an IV drip. They get slapped and they move on. She's sitting over here crying and being so dramatic. Like, girl, give it up. And Amara was like, well, I already spoke to Ray J and I don't have nothing to say to Princess, but there's somebody else who owes me answers. And we see Estelita walking up. So Estelita did admit to Amara that she invited Princess because of everything with Amara making up with Shay as well as Brooke. But she was like, at the end of the day, I didn't know Princess was going to hit you and I still stepped for you. I still jumped in for you. But Estelita was really emotional and crying about Amara and Brooke making up with Shay because of what Shay said about her essay. But Estelita and Amara was able to talk their fake ass friendship out. And Estelita basically says she's not nobody's bodyguard, but she just want Amara to know that she really got her back and she's always going to step for her. And that's why she popped Princess in the head. So we see Ray J and Princess meeting up and he's like, I heard you beat up Amara. What's going on with that? The princess was like, yeah, I slapped her and it started because of you. You didn't even call and check on me. And he was like, oh, I had to go to the hospital and check on Amara. When I got there, her whole fingernail and everything was twisted. And princess was like, I don't know how because she didn't even touch me. So he was like, oh, so you slapped her that hard? So then Ray J starts claiming that after we saw him and Amara go to the bachata dance or whatever when they were at the club or the dance class, they went back to her house supposedly. And the producers were asking Ray J in the confessional, like, you and Amara didn't say nothing about that. And he was like, well, I'm telling you now. So I don't know if Ray J is telling the truth or not, because to me, he would be somebody who would just make some shit like that up. He was basically describing the rooms in her house and they were showing those rooms. So I guess he wouldn't really know that if he hadn't been to her house before. And he basically claimed that him and Amara got really tipsy and he was like, I didn't sleep with her, but her PUSSY was in my face. And he said, I was protecting you because she basically said she had two options. Either she's going to mess with me or she's going to come for your pockets and get an attorney. So I told her to choose the first option and just mess with me. And Princess basically told Ray, well, her sleeping with you is not going to ruffle my feathers because you sleep with everybody in the United States and you've been doing that since we got married. He gonna say not in this decade. So I guess he stopped cheating after 2020. Princess told Ray J, you're disloyal and y'all are both trash to me. He said you slapped her because you care about me. She said, no, I slapped her because she deserved to get slapped. So Ray J and Princess still just playing and going back and forth. Who knows if they actually gonna get divorced this time or not. But anyway, next scene and last scene, we see Flo going to the studio to meet up with Black China's boyfriend, the producer Derek Milano, because remember, she's trying to get back into her music career. But she decided to bring Alan with her to the studio because she feels like Alan has been very supportive of her, but of course, it's also a part of her revenge plan against Marlon and Amara. So while Flo is in the booth trying to record, her phone keeps ringing and it's Marlon, and we see Marlon outside pulling up. He basically said that he was here to confront Flo about the Allen situation because remember, Flo's mom snitched on her to Marlon, but he doesn't know that Allen is actually at the studio with Flo tonight. So Flo, being messy, decides to give Allen the phone and tells him to answer the phone when Marlon calls. And he was video calling. So once he answered, they were on FaceTime. And he was like, who's this clown? So Alan's like, who's this clown? And Marlon is like, oh, you're Flo's secretary. Alan said, you better do your research about me before you speak to me like that. We're busy, we're working, we're doing music. So Flo finally takes the phone and Marlon is like, you need to come outside right now. Flo was like, I'm in the studio and you're distracting me. And Marlon was like, I don't care. You better come outside real quick or I'm going to be coming inside. Alan was like, no, he wants us to come outside. Let's go outside. So Flo told Derek, give me a minute. I apologize. And he was like, okay, fine. But you could tell he was kind of thrown off by it. And he was like, I don't really like to be in this type of drama. So Flo and Alan head outside. So Marlon and Alan are going back and forth. Alan is like, I know you're worried. You can't even handle me. Flo is not going nowhere. Marlon was trying to call Flo over to him. He wouldn't. She wouldn't go. And long story short, Marlon and Alan end up like trying to throw hands. And Alan was telling Marlon that he's a bitch because Flo left him for a girl. Because remember when she left him at first, she had that girlfriend, Claudia. Marlon was telling Alan, mind your business and take care of your kids. But at the end of all of that, Flo still ended up going back into the studio with Alan and left Marlon standing outside. And Marlon was basically just yelling outside while the security was holding him like, Alan, you gonna have to see me. And the episode ends there. So I will see y'all next week for episode 10 of Love and Hip Hop Miami. And if you're watching this on TikTok, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube because we still don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. All right. Bye.